First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kwadash. I also want to say double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. And I want to say peace, blessings, and salutations, greetings, of course, etc., as always, that are unto you elect, who are scattered throughout the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. I'm the brother Sha'ar from the Great Millstone Doubters branch, coming to you all with another live lesson, which is in a transit as I'm on my way to work. Just wanted to speak on a few things that's on my spirit. And Lord willing, of course, as always, as we do these lessons, we do it to feed the flock, of course, and to edify, which the word edify means to build. And that's one thing that we constantly need daily, was constant building up. You have all these spirits that are set up here, policies and such that are set up within this system to constantly drill you down and tear you down. And those of y'all that are spiritual, understand or should understand, I will say do understand. If not, if you don't understand, you will now after this lesson. But Babylon was set up to be a prison sentence for a righteous man. This place, America, which is Mystery Babylon, according to the scriptures, is not set up for you to win. Everything that's here within this side is vanity at the end of the day. Everything physically, tangibly here, I'd rather say, when the side is vanity at the end of the day. And even though, of course, you might have your wins on this side and such, losses are still going to come. And those losses come because it's meant to keep us humble. It's meant to continue to allow us to trust and rely on the Lord. Just as you read it in the book of Zechariah. Where's my other phone? I think I left my other phone at the house. But when you read it at the book of Zechariah, the 3rd chapter, it talks about how the Lord will leave in the midst a poor and afflicted people, and they shall trust in the name of the Lord. All right, so it must be fulfilled, just as Yahweh Shai fulfilled his portion when he existed on the earth as Yahweh Shai, and as he continually exists as he sits on the right-hand side with his Father. But he had fulfilled the law, and he also had to fulfill the prophets. All right, and certain of those prophecies written about Yahweh Shai, even before he came on the earth in the flesh as Yahweh Shai, it talked about that was a man of many sorrows and a man that was acquainted with grief. All right, and just as our master had to fulfill that role on the planet earth and fulfill suffering, that way we may fulfill joy and receive joy. That still don't take away the fact that we got to receive that suffering too. And we understand this. Going back until this point, Babylon was created for us to suffer. All right, and I'm not saying that's solely the reason Babylon was created for. The Lord had ample reasons why he had set this wicked kingdom up, to pretty much to show forth how wickedness can get. And when it falls, how great his glory and his salvation is. And we talked about that earlier at camp, actually, just going into salvation, which, Lord willing, I'll touch upon a lesson on that too, maybe later on when I get off work, when I get to the crib. But in order to be saved, in order for salvation to come to effect, you have to be saved from trouble. You can't just call it salvation, when you ain't really experiencing troubles like that. And a so-called Christian will walk around gloating and boasting, Antichrist, will walk around so-called gloating and boasting on how they're saved, when they're not even in trouble. You're not in trouble right now to be saved. Yeah, you got your daily things that you deal with, which all man deals with it. Every person deals with affliction. But then you have the special tribulation that a holy individual will go through. Even the Apostle Peter said it. Think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is set to try you. Not as if so some strange thing happened unto you. So when you serve the Lord, you deal with very strange afflictions. You deal with very strange tribulation. And it comes and it comes and it happens and it happens. And again, those that are spiritual understand why. And that's the beautiful thing about this truth. We've been given the outlet to know why, versus people walking around dealing with things, not knowing what's going on, period. They just dealing, willing, and dealing without any clue of why, what, where, when, They don't know. They just breathing. They just breathing, but we actually have an understanding of why. And we also have the kingdom of heaven in mind. So when we catch hell, it brings a different, obviously there's hope that's there. There's hope that's there. That's what faith is, the substance of things hoped for, which we hope for the kingdom of heaven. And as you hope for the kingdom of heaven to come, all right, there is a level of anxiety that you feel. And that anxiety is that anticipation of something that is eventually going to come. So you get anxious about it, you get antsy about it, and you don't want to get so antsy and excited to the point where, you start just willfully losing in life. And that's another lesson for another day, But just going into the things we experience, the hell that we catch, especially out here in Babylon, and also to the other various parts of the earth you brothers and you sisters are scattered at. And as you see the title of this lesson here, and loosely paraphrasing, we deal with things, you catch certain afflictions and you catch hell. And it's coming to the point here, especially since we're at the end, it's a lot more consistent. And as you read it in the book of Acts, the 14th chapter, it talks about as the apostles traveled to Derbe, as they traveled to different parts of Asia Minor, they exhorted the brethren, they exhorted the church, to continue to endure, because we know through much tribulation we shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. All right, so when the tribulation hits, it's Satan. The Lord allows Satan to sift you, to do certain things, just as, Job was tempted, just as all the righteous men in the history went through it, And, we always say it, and we said it a while ago, things are going to start happening more. Satan's going to start buckling down the clamps more. He's going to start livening up more, and we see it. So what we're bearing witness to is everything that we talked about, everything the scriptures talked about, everything we spoke of, and now it's happening right now. And also just understanding, the balance of all of this. The reason why so many more things are happening, whether it's in your life or whether it's in whoever's life, brother's life, whatever, which we're all experiencing stuff, we're being galvanized and refined. In case in point, I want to talk about all of this, because eventually the angel of the Lord is going to minister unto you. All right. And what came to mind, I was having a conversation with after camp earlier today with the brother, younger brother of war in our camp, man. I got a lot of love for that brother. We was chopping it up, and just going into, I'm saying, how it is, you ask brothers how they're doing, what's going on in life and such like that. We was talking about just, how, things are definitely intensifying and we're seeing it, but ultimately how we've been given an out through the Holy Spirit and understanding, but that moved me to want to go into this live show here as I'm on my way to the workplace. Just as you read it in Matthew, I believe it's in Matthew, the 3rd chapter, either the 3rd chapter or the 4th. I think it's the 3rd. But when Yahushua was going on that 40-day fast, it talks about how the tempter was there to tempt him. And just about a little bit of hell that we deal with within our lives. I mean, the hell that we catch really can't be comparable to what Yahushua experienced. So just know within them 40 days, when it talked about the tempter tempting him, you can only imagine the magnitude of the shit that man was dealing with. Because there's moments when you go on a fast and everything, when you're in a fast, things start falling right. You know what I'm saying? You're having spiritual dreams and such like that. But then there are those moments too when you go in that fast and you're cleansing and such, and you catch even more hell when you're going on that fast. And the reason why you're catching more hell when you're going on that fast, on certain fasts, is because Satan wants you to stop. Golly, what is going on? Yeah, see? I was wondering why there was such abnormal traffic. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Hold on, man. You see? But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. Let's go on and get over, let them get by. Come on, asshole. You can drive. You don't got to sit in the side of the road. They've passed. All right. Excuse me. That was very strange. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. When you look at what Yahushua was experiencing during that fast, I mean, oh yeah, that's right, going into fast. There's certain fasts that you experience, and and it's, obviously it's a fast, so you're afflicting yourself, you're afflicting your flesh, you're afflicting your comforts, or I'd rather say you're putting a stop to those comforts and those necessities and really tapping into the spirit more. And there are those moments when you fast and you're tapping into the spirit more, and Satan presses the gas a little more because there might be, revelation the Lord wants you to see. or you know, that cleansing that the Lord really put on your spirit to go through, but Satan don't want it to happen. You know what I'm saying? So he'll allow weird shit to happen in your life, and whatever the case is, he'll constantly mess with you. He'll bug you in your dreams, you know. And again, going back to Yahweh Shai, when he went on that 40-day fast, it talks about the tempter tempting him. You know, so just imagine the magnitude that it actually was, because we all deal with it. So you can imagine the level it was with him dealing with it. But when you read that he was tempted, you know what I'm saying, Satan was trying to hit him with some scriptures. Yahweh Shai was spiritually sparring him and bringing scriptures back to him to show that, you know, obviously that, you know, Satan was incorrect. But he was even using scriptures. And that just goes to show you how sharp Yahweh Shai was. Because, you know, there's a time for certain scriptures. As you read it in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, there's a time and a place for everything. You know? And he tried to bring out scripture on trusting in the Lord. And Yahweh Shai was like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're supposed to trust in the Lord. But also, too, you ain't supposed to tempt the Lord neither. You know, when Satan, again, was coming to him to tempt him, to try to get him to do something out of faith, but really it's out of tempting the Lord. An example, we told him to go into the pinnacle of the temple and jump off, and tried to use Psalms 91, how, you know, the Lord will take thee by thy right hand, lest thou dash thy foot against the stones. It will see you jump off. You know, if you really the Son of Man, you gonna be okay. And Yahweh Shai, like, is it not written that thou shalt not tempt the Lord? Why would I jump off for no reason? Now, case in point, Jacob's trouble come. You being chased by cops or whatever. Not cops, but you know what I mean. You know, the special forces. You know, and you got to jump off a dang cliff or something like that. You know what? Hey, there you go. The Lord will lift up a standard right there in that moment. Even when Yahweh Shai, when you read it in the book of Luke, the 4th chapter, when he went into the synagogue and brought out Isaiah, the 61st chapter, you know how about the time of the acceptable year. And when he closed the book and said, today this is fulfilled, what took place? His own kinfolk, his own people tried to throw him off the cliff. And earlier in that chapter, in Luke, the 4th chapter, that's Luke's witness, or his writing of when Yahweh Shai was tempted by Satan. You can read about it in Matthew 3, Luke, the 4th chapter. But in that same chapter, Yahweh Shai was tempted and almost thrown off a cliff, or eventually, if the Lord didn't intervene, his feet would have been dashed against the stone, right? But what happened? It says Yahweh Shai got away. In the next scene, he was all the way past Jordan, you know, which is a long ways away, you know. So the Lord lifted up a standard even right there for Yahweh Shai when he was getting ready to be tossed off a cliff. The Lord allowed Yahweh Shai to get away, you know. And the way that it's worded, it looked like it was divine intervention that took place on how Yahweh Shai was able to get away. You know, so yeah, the Lord is bad, man. But just going to the point, you know, hey, the Lord will have his angels deliver you from certain situations and even comfort you when you are catching hell. And we're comforted every day. You know, we can't forget that. Even though we catch hell and such like that, you can't forget the fact that you're comforted. Because there's certain times when you're going through shit and you try to find an out. I did a lesson about a week ago going into the alcohol. And alcohol can be something that's drunken in excess when you're going through something. You know, it can be so excessive and you're trying to find comfort within that, but it ain't doing nothing but feeding on to your bullshit even more, allowing you to rage more. You try to find comfort in other things, but, you know, you got to find it within the truth, because we've been given a comforter. And part of that is understanding that, look, it ain't going to be peaches and cream all the time. It ain't going to be sunflowers and roses all the time. You got to suffer. But it's better off suffering on this side, like the Apostle Paul talked about in his letter to the Corinthians. It's better suffering on this side than having to suffer with the world when the judgment comes, you know? So even when you're going through things nonstop, shit don't seem to fall on your, you know, your lap. You know what I'm saying? It seems like every time you roll the dice, you're crapping out on certain stuff. Well, you know, it's constant reminders that this isn't our world anyway. You know, and again, the Lord will allow his angel, your angel, and I worded it that way for a reason in the title, because we do have specific angels that are designed, you know, to serve us. And when I say serve us, you know, I mean in a spiritual ways that we can't see. You know, as you read it in the book of Hebrews, the 1st chapter, it talks about how the angels are all ministering spirits. And what they do is they minister unto the heirs of salvation. And that word minister means to serve. So you have angels that are serving you in ways that you can't even see nor perceive right now. Now, spiritually, you understand it. But if we had an idea of what the Lord was doing around us, man, we would be like, whoa. Like, it's a reason why, we walk by faith and not by sight. The not by sight part is knowing the Lord is in control and working, even on things that we can't see. That hell that you're catching, the shit that you're going through in your life, we know what it's meant to do. It's meant to galvanize us and make us stronger. But again, you don't even know why you're catching certain hell. Certain hell might be meant to keep you out of harm's way later on. The Lord might have allowed your angel to come down there and intervene and do something to deliver you from whatever type of trouble. Could be like that. Shoot, as I'm on the road right now, just a few months ago, I'm just riding in traffic like it is right now, just regular traffic and stuff, and it's a traffic jam. Now I'm looking behind me, my rear view mirror, in the next lane over, because I'm trying to get over to see, because it looked like that lane was moving a little faster. And the Spirit had me waiting, and right at the nick of time, I went over. And as soon as I went over, I was looking in my rear view mirror up here, and I seen a car kind of like going, because it was like right at the beginning of where the traffic jam started. So you have cars coming in at regular speed, slowing down to get caught in the traffic. I'm already in the traffic, but, I just now get into the traffic. But anyway, the Spirit has me go to the next lane. As soon as I do that, there's 2 trucks behind me, like 2 big old Fords or Silverados or whatever. Maybe a Ford and a Chevy. They were big trucks. But as soon as I got over, that truck smacked the other truck, and that truck domino affected and would have hit my shit if I wouldn't have hurried up and moved out the way. And it was like, I didn't see it coming. It ain't like I foresaw that happening. I looked at the mirror, and the Spirit had me accelerate and get over just to hurry up and beat the oncoming traffic that's coming. And if I wouldn't have accelerated, I would have been through. If I'd have just eased into it, I would have got hit. So there's things that the Lord does, which we obviously know, but the Spirit has me talking about it right now. When you read it in Psalms chapter 34, verse 7, where it's written, the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and that call upon his name and trust him, loosely paraphrasing. An encampment is a lot. That's like war terminology. Like back in the ancient world, let's say, for example, you have the ancient Iconians or the Lacedaemonians, which were the Spartans, against the Athenians. They actually were battling back in the day, but when you're in the time of war, there's a territory that you fight in. When you have the territory, and then on the other side of the territory, that's the enemy's encampment. And then on the opposite side, 144, but on the opposite side, you have your encampment. An encampment consists of a lot of people. This is a war encampment. So to know that the scriptures say the angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, you have a lot of defense that's there with you right now. So when you go through things, it's really meant to try you, as we obviously know. But certain moments you catch that hell, and it's like, Lord, can I get a break? And the Lord like, no, you ain't getting no break right now. Hey, the scriptures say also too in 2 Timothy, I think it's 2 Timothy 2. No soldier is worried about is entangled with the affairs of this life. So that even includes the shit that you deal with on the regular, because we hate our lives. We deny ourselves every day. So the Lord is adding to that. The Lord is adding to that because it's a time that's coming where we will be grateful for everything that we went through, all the galvanizing that we've experienced. And if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be as equipped with the knowledge and wisdom to keep you stable in the times that's to come, and to have that fear of the Lord, which is the treasure. Your fear of the Lord ain't gonna be as high if you ain't going through certain things, man. You go through something, and the Lord is getting on you because you went off, just as the scriptures say, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned. So you understand that, you understand that you've sinned. So there's more fear that's grown to the Lord that comes from that. All right, man, I've sinned. I make sure I don't want to do X, Y, and Z no more. Certain things, what you did. And when you get judged, you can think back to that bullshit that you might have allowed or whatever the case is. And that builds up your fear, which is healthy fear of the Lord. So when you go through these certain things and Satan is constantly, sifting you, things seem like they're falling apart within your lives. Guess what? That's meant for that to happen. That way, in the time that's to come that we're approaching, you will be unmovable in that day. Malachi, the 3rd chapter says, loosely paraphrasing, pretty much when the Lord comes, he is going to be like a refiner's fire and a fuller's soap. And it says he shall purge the sons of Levi, which is really talking about the priesthood in the last days, the order of Melchizedek, really, which we're all part of. All right. But it says, when you continue and read the last part of that verse, it asks the question saying, who shall stand when he appeareth? And that question is asking, who shall stand when he appeareth? Now, granted, every knee shall bow. We know that. But that's going into who is going to be able to, endure the shaking, the shaking when the Lord reveals his presence. And if you're not mortifying members and cutting things off and, and not understanding why the things are happening in your life, it could be very easy for you to be shaken up in that day. You know what I'm saying? It could be very easy for you to be shaken up in that day. So you just got to just trust in the process. At the end of the day, you have to trust in the process. All right? Because this is ultimately a process. On every whenever you make plans, it ain't going to ever go the way. Just as they say in the world. It's something that I've heard coming up. You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And that's a true saying. Even though it's in, they say it in the world, but that still don't take away the spiritual nugget out of that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's the Lord's plan. It's not your plan. You can have a mindset of want to go through X, Y, and Z, expecting the hell to come. But the Lord might be like, man, fuck that. I'm finna bring some hell on you that you couldn't even imagine. And then you endure through it and deal with it. Now what are you? A new creature, transformed. A whole new creature, which is later going to be transformed into an actual new body. So it's really just about trusting the process, man. And again, going into the lesson here, just as those angels minister to Yahweh Shai, man, the angels are going to minister to us too. They're already doing it. They're already doing it. But the more hell that we catch, the more the Lord is going to show his face. The more evil things get, the more the Lord is going to reveal his glory. Because we understand that a false balance is an abomination unto the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So best believe it ain't going to be no imbalances that's going to happen, man. The Lord is all about balances. He's the perfect balance. So just know, you going through things, got you. It's like that. We understand. But just know that blessing, that glory that's to come is going to be the balance of that. Even here on this side, the Lord is going to throw bones and nuggets there. He's going to allow his angels to minister unto you. Just as those angels ministered unto Yahweh Shai as he was here, being tempted in the flesh, in the earth. So I made the point, that traffic, man, doing this lesson, the Wadi Al-Bashim Yahweh Shai, man, that traffic was so bad, I might be late for work. But hey, it is what it is. The work got to be done regardless, But I'm going to end it off for that. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Makakodash. Also, double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. Peace, blessing, and salutations unto you elect who are scattered throughout the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. Shalom, shalom.